is debt tax-free?
I don't know.
Because that's how money is created. And so the banks love it. They love people borrow lots of money. So how do I get rich? I borrow money and I buy assets with it. The poor person borrows money and buys liabilities like purses, cars, houses, and they get poorer and poorer and poorer.
And here's how you're going to borrow the money to make money. 5 steps on how to gain access to the cash that 99% of business owners, small business owners in the United States of America don't even know exists. Now stay locked into this video because every step that I'm going to go into basically leads on to the next one. If you miss one singular step, basically the whole sequence collapses. So step 1, you want to use credit unions, not banks, but credit unions. Why do I say credit unions? Because the fact that their limits are higher. It's easier because their rules are not as strict and stringent as commercial banks out there. So as I said before, credit unions, they have higher limits, which they basically do not advertise to the general public over and across the United States of America. So how they differ from banks is banks are commercial, they are for profit, whereas credit unions are for the community. They want to see you basically, in essence, succeed. Because of that reason, your credit score doesn't have to be as high. Rules and regulations, as I've mentioned before, are not as strict. You can get in from the ground up, and also their programs are different and what they have to offer to the general public. Now, if you want to know more about credit unions in your state, simply go to ibank.net and you can check out what you need right there. So step 2, when you make contact, you want to be asking the right questions. So when you go into a credit union, you want to be asking the right questions. You don't want to be asking simplistic questions like, you know that they give loans, you've gone onto ibank.net, you've seen this video. Okay, so you're already equipped with facts or information so as not to go in there and ask dumb questions like that. So what type of credit cards do you offer? Do you offer 0% interest credit cards? Do you offer 0% interest business credit cards? You don't want to be asking, can I open up a checking account? You know the fact that you can open up a checking account. You want to be asking them, what different credit unions do they pull from? Do they pull from Equifax? Do they pull from TransUnion? Do they pull from Experian? Now, step 3, use credit unions strategically. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, this is basically where the amateurs tap out and the pros tap in, because the pros are the individuals who have done their research, like you. Now, most people think that a loan is just a loan, it's just a loan. They're all the same, okay? But the fact of the matter is, if you go in there and you think a loan is just a loan, it's just a loan, you're already looking to set yourself up in order to get a denial. Now, there are various different loans out there for various different avatars. And not just that, what you want to do is you want to choose 3 different credit unions. So as I mentioned before, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. Now, you want to put yourself in a position where you're applying for 0% interest credit cards all at the same time, or near enough the same time, which pull, as I mentioned before, from each and every one of those different bureaus. And here's the key thing, you're only going to want to use that money as and when you need it, okay? Now, however, you want to use it within those 0% interest periods, because simply because of the fact that you want to take advantage of those 0% interest periods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a simplistic picture for you, really simplistic, okay? So the picture that I'm going to paint is you get $10,000 from credit union number 1. You get $10,000 from credit union number 2. You get $10,000 from credit union number 3, using strategy that I just mentioned to you before. Go to different credit unions that pull from different bureaus. Boom, you've got $30,000 available to you at 0% interest. And here's the thing, you don't need to use the money immediately. However, as mentioned before, you want to use it within that period, that 0% interest period, but you want to use it strategically. You want to use the money to make sure the money is making money. So in essence, you're setting yourself up for safety. You're using true and utter leverage, okay? You're taking advantage of demand. You're taking advantage of opportunity, okay? This is how the real players play, the real entrepreneurs. Step 4, you want to build relationships. Build relationships the right way, and this is how. Now, here's the part that a lot of people don't really talk about, okay? You need to show up in person to the banks, to the credit unions. Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases. And one thing that I want to make clear, this isn't because the fact that you want to shake hands with the bank manager or create a presence. It's not that. The reason is because you want to walk in, you want to open a business checking account, okay? You want to deposit anything from $50 to to $100, the more the better, okay? Because the fact that you want to create a relationship, a connection, you want them to know that that you are there. And the reason why I say the more the better is because you want to create a thing called bank rating, and it's based upon the amount of deposits that are in one specific checking account and the inflows and outflows of those deposits. So even if you're transferring this money to another account which belongs to you over the course of 90 days, basically what that does is it increases your bank rating, and that account in essence is seen as more trustworthy. Now, when you open up that account, more than often they ask you, what other products are you looking for? And you're always going to say, well, now more than often they're going to ask you whether or not you need any other products. You're going to basically say, yes, absolutely. Now, going through this process, you want to put yourself in a position, or you already want to be in a position, okay, where you have a 680 plus credit score, okay, a strong credit profile that is not thin. Basically, in essence, what this does is it puts you in a strong position to at least be able to get from one singular credit union $10,000. Now you may be thinking to yourself, okay, $10,000, only $10,000. Remember, you're pulling or going to one credit union that pulls from one of the credit bureaus, and you're going to another, and you're going to another. So 3 in total. So basically, in essence, that's how you're stacking the cash up to 30 grand or even more if you want it, okay, without stacking up inquiries. Because remember, the more inquiries that you stack up, the more that hurts your credit score. Step 5, the final step, use 0% to your advantage. Now, most of these credit unions that exist out there right across the United States of America have 0% interest periods, anything from 12 months all the way up to, the last time I did some research, 24 months. That means basically you can sit on $30,000, 0%, zero pressure, zero interest to pay immediately. Imagine having all of that time, all that leverage to invest into a project, make money, put out ads. Yeah, you've got no interest, you've got no stress, you've got no panic, you just got pure and utter unadulterated leverage, baby. So in essence, what it does is it buys you time. It puts you in a position where that pressure isn't on your back, okay? You've brought yourself opportunity at the same time, because remember, we are not just investing this money willy-nilly, okay? We've already got a plan for where the money's going to go. And if you do not have a plan, do not mess around with this, because basically you're playing with fire.